Witness testimony. Affront for murder. The corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck. Ooh. I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake. But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp in the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fella's the only one who could have done it. Yeah. An extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart, and you're to blame? You give love a bad name. Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge. The coroner says the death would have been all but instant from a wound like that. You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused. No. That could be further from the truth. I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. The victim stood himself in something called the bird cage, ready to be beamed instantly. To the second level of the crystal tower, about 25 yards away. The experiment did not go according to plan, however. That's one way of putting it. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in mid-air. From where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the crystal tower's large round window. My word. One assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower then? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident, a terrible accident. Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you. No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart. Murder weapon? What are you saying? This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record. I'd like to have a look at that, please. Your request is granted, counsel. The autopsy report has been entered into the court record. Don't know why I'm stuck in that voice. It's very straight. I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. And the other people on the stage were Mr. Asman. Was that disgraced excuse for a scientist? Then really, by all accounts, it must have been him. Hard to think otherwise, really. Very well, counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination, please. Well, give me a moment. Let's have a look here. Autopsy report, coroner Courtney Scythe. Alright. Details of victim, Oddie Asman, male, 47, British. Time of death, 21st of October, around 2:20 p.m. Cause of death, hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Additional observations, a broken vertebra, most likely resulting from impact after a sudden fall from considerable height. Yes, that matches up. Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while. Cross-examination. Affront for murder. A corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck. I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake. But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in the chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fella's the only one that could have done it. Alright, that's what Ryonosuke is gonna say here. So that's all the testimony I have to work with. I had no idea the victim had been stabbed. That changes everything. Did Van Zyks keep that to himself until now on purpose to gain an advantage? Well, I suppose all I can do is press these witnesses for as much new information as possible. Well, I'm very much like thinking something already. The corpse went crashing through the crystal tower to broken neck, yeah. I made a miscalculation in the angle of beam projection, that's all, that was my mistake. Where is it? The post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. Now, we know there's another piece of evidence we're missing, because we found the screwdriver, didn't we, with the A shape on it. So I'm wondering if we can get that from this. Just get that screwdriver entered into the court record so we can have a look at it, get some more information about it. That's what I'm thinking with this. I want to actually go with this first, because what else would have been used as the weapon? That's what they're going to go with, so... Hold it! The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense. Sarcastic and insincere. Thanks. So what was the nature of this sharp object? Among the accused tools that were used at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. Yes. This. Ah, yes, that would appear to be some kind of screwdriver, wouldn't it, Captain? Ah, there he is! My trusty little companion, Andrew! Andrew? Of course. Do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're one big happy family. The music is very appropriate right now. Andrew is my flat-headed screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead. Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank. Oh yeah, I did notice that before. Ah, that isn't... It's blood. Beyond all reasonable doubt. No. And that's not all. The long, sharp shape of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound. What? What? See, I have a Phillips screwdriver. The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence. Thank you. Screwdriver has been entered into the court record. Professor Hairbrain's trusty screwdriver that he's named Andrew. There are traces of blood at the tip and it matches the shape of the victim's wound. So, one of the Professor Hairbrain's tools is the murder weapon. Great. Yeah, kind of screwed there, aren't we? We'll start pressing after this, but I do want to see about the court record now because I want to have a look at this. So, what else we got on here? What have we got going on? This is blood. Mr. Asmund's, no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. Seems to be anything else other than the A shape. Can't find anything out of place. I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the kinesis machine. Oh, was it? Oh! Right, we know we found like a, what I consider to be a, crossbow of some kind. Maybe it was launched up. So maybe they fired up a second body towards the crystal tower and launched the screwdriver up to where the machine was. Maybe. Which, I mean, it's far-fetched, but it's Ace Attorney. That's how it works. Which could be important information, so I should definitely take note of it. Like, the details of the screwdriver have been updated in the court record. Because maybe it goes in this. I mean, that's clearly a crossbow. Like, clearly, like, yeah, they've gone and shoved it in there, haven't they? Is there anything I can inspect on this? Doesn't seem like I can inspect anything on this. Okay. It looks like layers of thick canvas, with a thick rubber lining of sorts. I've never seen anything like it before. But applying Mr. Sholmes' methods, you might deduce it was part of a raincoat worn by someone who really didn't want to get wet. And the charring must have occurred when the person was struck by lightning. Or maybe not. Green, though. Just want to see if there's anything green here we could get our eyes on. Oh, I don't think there's anything left that we could investigate here, really. Right, let's start pressing everything. Let's go here. What grounds do you have for saying that? Huh. Do you really need to ask? There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage, in front of the whole crowd. The victim, and Mr. Odie Osman, and the accused, Professor Harebrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive. That's right, I saw him with my own eyes. Furthermore, following the explosion and kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body. In other words, only someone else on the stage with the victim could possibly have done it. Yes?
Excuse me.
Professor Harebrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor? Ah, sorry. I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body. And the witness stand is the best place for that? It seemed as though you might have something to say. About Inspector Gregson's last remark. Yes, that's right. Of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he? Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh? I don't know, but there's no way that could possibly have been... that I could possibly have stabbed Mr... A thought occurs to me. What if, like, having this picture is so helpful to do this kind of stuff. I'm thinking there's like 2 bodies and stuff. What if there's only 1? Like, there was an explosion here, sure. So maybe the explosion did fire him up here. Like, the experiment, forget it, nonsense. But maybe the explosion fired the body over here. That, like, conventional cannon type situation, just boom over there, right? So how did he get stabbed in the chest then? Someone down here had a crossbow, fired up the screwdriver as a bolt into the chest. They'd have to have a really good aim and all that type of stuff, but it's possible. It's possible. Because this is clearly a crossbow. Like, look at it, it's got a thing to pull stuff back. These things will pull back as well. Like, yeah, you can see like you pull these things back. I'm trying to think which way the crossbow would work. Is this in a firing position already? I'm trying to think, like, if you fired it like that way, it feels like it's already taut, isn't it? So you put something in there and then and that's it. Like maybe this is the trigger. Ah, we can inspect that. Ah, there's some sort of lever here. Yes! There you go. What is this? Looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. I think it's probably used for the same thing too. Crossbow! There we go. It was clearly a crossbow. I was just wondering how it worked. A weapon found behind a tree, experiment stage, exhibition grounds. Turns out it's a folding crossbow. Right. So now that we know it's a crossbow, yeah, like my logic's coming into there. Like clearly a crossbow. Like clearly one now. Like before it was like some kind of strange mechanical device, just like some kind of crossbow. That now it's just clearly a crossbow. And this groove here must be where the arrows are loaded, I suppose. So I was right, it's a sort of bow with an automatic firing mechanism. This would be perfect for someone like me who catches his ear with the bowstring 2 times out of 3. Yeah, I've been doing some archery before. That's what I wanted to go with. I've done archery before. And it's like, yeah, I can understand that. You get better at it though. In fact, if I had one of these, maybe I could have beaten Kazuma in Kudo archery training? Crossbow, very formidable weapon. What a great invention in its day. It looks like you wind this around in order to draw the bowstring back and create tension. You must be able to fire arrows with a huge amount of force using this device then. In fact, I'd imagine it's far more accurate and powerful than a Japanese longbow. I really had no idea what I was picking up when I spotted this at the exhibition grounds. Yeah, that is a point. You've essentially picked up the murder weapon. Like, it's again, the screwdriver is clearly the it's clearly the arrow. A for arrow. Oh, it goes back into this when I go back in. Okay, very well. I like how that folds out then. That's very cool. I just thought it was some kind of like new fandangled sort of steampunky crossbow. It's like, oh no, it just folds out. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah. So like they fired that up into his chest and then made it look like it was the experiment? There's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asman as you say. Eh? Explain, please, Professor. Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins. I had heard. And surely you see. If I'd plunged something in the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood swimming pool. Ah. But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood. Well, no, I suppose not. You see not one? True, I didn't see anything like that. Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument. There's no blood at all, no blood at all. Gushingly wood. Oda. Uh-oh. Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friends, juicing? Uh-oh. Here's to you, Albert. Oh, you're too kind, Barak, but I'm really not a patch on you. No, you're not. No? You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility. I have? A particular situation in which very little bleeding would have resulted from a stab wound. Ah, of course. Inspector, enlighten the court, please. Yes, sir. Where are they going with this? Very well, you will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst it was beamed through the air. So that's all that. No, I wanted. No. So that's all the testimony I have to work with. I had no idea the victim had been stabbed. That changes everything. Did Van Sykes keep that to himself until now on purpose to gain the advantage? Oh, well, I suppose all I can do is press these witnesses for as much new information as possible. No, I wonder, it's very much like, no. Statement 5 there. There, the weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air.
Hold it!
I don't think so. Why would you think that, Inspector? With any wound, it's only when you pull the weapon out that profuse bleeding occurs. But we found the weapon, the supposed weapon anyway, at the staging site, so whilst it's still lodged in the body, it acts as a stopper of sorts, for want of a better word. I see. You don't need a medical degree to be aware of this fact. It's common knowledge from any investigator. Where's Susato-san when you need her? I like that relates back to that. If you ask me, this bloke masks what he was doing from view with his body before stabbing Asman in the chest. Then he beamed the victim off the stage with his fancy device, the screwdriver still where he planted it. I would never do such a thing. Not my precious tools, I would never use them for such dirty work. You only use tools for their intended purpose. That's common knowledge for any scientist. The fact remains, the lack of blood at the scene can easily be explained, as the prosecution has demonstrated. Yeah, but... So that, I'm gonna present the screwdriver, Andrew, to him on that statement, because it's like, hold on, mate, we found that. You didn't. We found it. We know where it came from. So...
Objection!
You're saying that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal? Look, there was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding. It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world. Yes, but about this screwdriver. The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage. What? It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective had stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Ah, well, now you come to mention it, yes. Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Science Equipment Act? No, not at all, I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. I was very clear it wasn't such a thing. Yes, that's true. The screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it? What are you getting at? If this tool had been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have still been on the stage. Ah. That's right. It should have been beamed across to the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman. And been found still lodged in the victim's chest. How do you explain this, Inspector? Because yeah, it's like... Even with my idea of like shooting in his chest up there, and then the body went over there, how does it get back over there? There's so many little particulars in this case that still make me come back to like, there's a body double? It's gotta be a case of like I'm just trying to like piece together to make sure I'm clear in my own head right now. So like they had the victim down here, whoever. They stabbed him in the chest, pulled out the screwdriver. So they stabbed him with a screwdriver, pulled it out. This caused the explosion down here when they shot the body up over here. They used the crossbow to fire the screwdriver up here for some reason. I'm not sure why they would do that, but for some reason they did. And at the same time he was doing his experiment. So where did like this body double go here? Maybe the explosion itself here was the body exploding. Like maybe a fake body exploded here. I feel like I'm right somewhere. The crossbow and firing the screwdriver, I feel like that's correct. So how do you explain this, Inspector? Right, well, I don't, looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously, that should have been beamed to the destination as well. This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, they're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. Is that a clue? My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Lord Van Sykes is stumped. Hold it! Hold it! Do you have something to say, witness? Yes, I knew it. It bears out. The equations hold. Mr. Nanahodo, don't worry. I'm very worried. About what? Without delving into the details, there is no inconsistency. What? What are you doing? Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Asman's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations. What? What? You fool. Ow! It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should hear the accused explanation. Or should I say this brilliant scientist's explanation? Just when I found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists. Very well, the defendant will testify again. Provide us with a scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold. In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord. You stupid idiot.